You want to get into the movie?
Sure. This masterpiece of a movie.
Well, I guess you could put it that way.
The Linux Movie Cast.
So, I'm not sure who picked this one. But I watched it. Gosh darn it.
Yeah.
Known as Virtual Deathmatch from 2020. IMDb synopsis is a group of gamers are selected to take part in a VR competition where only the fittest will survive. And as far as the tech in this movie, I posted a link in the Matrix because they're wearing these VR headsets. And I paused it. It's called the Destek, Destek, and they're $35. And they're for you use them with a phone. So it says iPhone or Android. Virtual reality headset for VR games and 3D movies. I've never heard of Destek.
It probably just runs a version of cardboard.
I would say, is it cardboard or is it connected through like Bluetooth or?
Probably just cardboard.
I don't know. It says 1 month, no reason return, 12-month warranty, wide compatibility. VR headsets are fantastic gifts for adults and kids.
Adults and kids?
Yeah. Because they have one that looks like it has like an astronaut on it with little ships, and it says you can explore unknown, bring you anywhere, help you learn about different places and ideas by experiencing them as if you were actually there.
Oh.
Personal 3D cinema. Create a private chance to watch your favorite 3D movies. Soft head straps adjustable. Interpupillary distance adjustable. 4.8 stars.
That's always nice when it's got the two controls for the eyes to adjust the focus in case you got one eye that's worse than the other.
So the reason I bring this up is because the people that are involved in this VR deathmatch in the movie are wearing these that are supposedly hooked up to these PCs that they have next to them. But it's actually a headset for your cell phone. So that might be a hint as to the quality of the movie you're about to watch. Basically, some were gamers, some did not, signed up for this contest, VR deathmatch contest, where the winner wins $1 million, and it's winner takes all, so the last man standing. And they're up from all different walks of life. And our protagonist, I guess, is this woman whose husband is sick in bed and she needs the money to pay for his medicine. And they show him in bed with a tube taped to his lip. It doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't go in his nose and it doesn't go in his mouth. It's just taped to the top of his lip. And I don't know what it's attached to. It doesn't show anything that it's attached to, but probably nothing. So this is why she needs the money she says to buy the medicine for her husband to get well, and he's unconscious. So there is this mysterious group of people who will be watching the contest. I'm guessing this is similar to Hunger Games, except in VR. Was that the plot of Hunger Games? These people are in this maze and rich people are watching them fight to the death, or am I off on there? I've never seen Hunger Games.
There's no maze, but it's...
Oh, okay.
But close, yeah. It's different districts. The United States is different districts, and people fight to no longer struggle for food and poverty and all that.
And then what's
one winner?
what's the other movie that this was like? Ready Player One?
Yeah. Well,
And I haven't seen that one either, so I can't really...
kind of, I guess.
Similar to that?
Only in the fact that it's going into a
You
VR
haven't
world.
seen Ready Player One.
No.
Have you read the book?
No.
You suck.
No, that means he can add it to the list.
Exactly. Add it to the list already.
There's a reason I haven't seen it, but you'll probably not like it.
What's the reason?
Or read it. Because, and I may be way off base here, because like I said, I haven't seen it, but I have a bias against media that uses pop culture to lean on, like Family Guy does this too, or they just throw in all these pop culture references and the masses say, oh, I recognize that, I recognize that, I recognize that.
Well,
and it does something in their brain where it makes them enjoy it because
okay, now
it's
I
just
can
a bunch
agree
of pop
with you.
culture references.
I
Am
can
I wrong?
agree with you on principle, but this is not that.
Oh,
Ready
it's not?
Player One is not that. It's actually got a story.
Okay.
They did a lot of that they did more of that in the movie than they did in the book.
book,
The
yeah.
references in the book were like what to older video games and
Yeah.
to like tabletop games and stuff.
Definitely 80s stuff. It's not, new stuff.
And the book was a lot more obscure than what they threw into the movie. The movie was a lot of that.
And
But
the
I
stuff
mean-
was cool in the book, but it added to the story as opposed to being the story.
Okay.
Right.
See, I can get down with that. I thought it was just nothing but pop culture references, and people were going crazy just because they recognized the pop culture references, and that's what made it good instead of having to use the writer's imagination to create a story and stuff. But like I said, I didn't see it or read it, so I don't. That's just the impression I got from the way people were talking about it. So, and I hate that trope. And that's why one of the reasons why I hate Family Guy, because they rely on that so much. It's just annoys me to no end. But if Joe says it's still good, regardless of that, then I'll check it out.
Now, I might like the movie because I liked the book.
Right.
So I don't know
I
what the
definitely agree with
differentiation would be there.
Because they don't stay like really close to a lot of the stuff. They don't stay very close to the book, but they keep the same general
Core.
idea.
Yeah.
The general core is there, and you kind of nerd out at the fact that it's the general core, and they made something that looks really cool. But I mean, some of the stuff on there just like. So, like half of it was they were supposed to solve or try to find Easter eggs in this giant world that was created, this giant VR world that was created by this guy. And if you find all of his stuff, you basically get all of his money and control of the world, I think.
Yeah.
And so, like in the book, it was a lot of like finding parts in the world that were like very much related to old video games, and like one of them was like Joust or something, wasn't it? Yeah, so you would have
And
to
old
go
movies.
what's that, in movie references and stuff, but it's you would have to know what those are to be able to defeat that and get like the key, one of the keys to move on. While in the movie, it was like instead of going forward in this, everybody is on the same race, and instead of going forward, I went reverse, and I got the key. And everybody is in the race, and the race is supposed to be. It was.
Yeah.
It was
That was
stupid, and some parts of it were made just so they can show off some their CGI and stuff. But you still kind of enjoy it because the base movie is there.
Yeah, and it's not just like movies and games. I mean, they also reference music. I mean, Rush 2112 was a big part of the book.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I don't think they could get all the licensing for everything that was in the books to show in the movies and
Which is
stuff
why
like that. Yeah.
Spielberg was.
Yeah, they got him so they could use the Iron Giant instead of what was it, Shogun Warriors or whatever else it was, and Ultraman, and the book's definitely better, but the movie's solid.
Okay. Well, we watched a different movie that wasn't that. called
We-
Virtual
we watched-
Deathmatch.
We watched Giant.
I have
Clip
not
for the-
seen Ready Player One.
Oh, okay.
Have you read the book, though?
Fix that.
Have you read the book?
Nope.
Also fix that.
I'd read the book first for
Yeah.
sure.
Yes. Yeah, that's. I don't think you would enjoy the movie without actually reading the book first.
So,
So we watched this turd burger.
Virtual Deathmatch. So, like I said before, these all different people from different walks of life, they're playing this game because they need money. And there's people called the Watchers, which is about 15 people in a hidden room that are watching what they see. But the difference is when they have the VR headset on, it's like they're really there. They're not watching a VR. They feel like they're being in the game. Kind of like, what was that VR fighting movie we saw last time, where you feel like you're really in the game, and everything is super realistic. There aren't any pixels or anything like that, and there's different
Virtuosity?
levels. Well, Virtuosity, but the Don the Dragon one.
Virtual
we saw.
Fighter?
Is that what it was? No.
Really, you're
Sci-Fighter.
gonna reference the Down
Sci-Fighter.
the Dragon one and not the good version of the exact same movie, pretty much.
Yes, Sci-Fighter. It was
Of
like
course we are.
Sci-Fighter. If you are a true fan of the show, then you watched Sci-Fighter to suffer with us, your humble guest or your humble host, and so it's like that. But the game itself is broken down into 4 levels, I believe, and each person gets 3 lives. And the first level is a scarecrow is trying to kill you, and you need to find different parts in the game to burn the scarecrow. The second one is evil nuns, and you start out in this church, and the nuns can hypnotize the men with their crosses, so they become like zombies, and the women are basically left on their own to defeat the nuns. The third game is an evil clown, or the third level rather is an evil clown that you have to defeat. And the fourth level is a surprise. Well, there's like 5 actually. The fourth level is where they all have to disclose their deepest, darkest secrets, and the game makes them put a gun to their head, and it's going to make them pull the trigger if they don't tell their secrets. And then the final level is basically a death match between the players. And by the final level, there's only 2 players left, and they have to one has to kill the other to win the game. So, but what they don't know, and I guess it's in the fine print of the contract they have to sign by cutting their thumb and leaving a blood print on the contract, is that if you die in the game, you also die in real life. So they find that out later on in the game, and then they're all freaked out and stuff. And so that's the basic premise. As far as like, is it a good movie? No, not really. It's very low budget. I'm guessing that they probably had less than $100,000 to make this movie. The woman that's directed this has made like 26 other low budget movies before this one, and she just keeps shitting them out. She's a director from the UK, and I guess this is her business model, is to shit out all these 3-star or less movies. But there's some things that I liked about this movie. I thought that the premise was kind of interesting, even though it was executed very poorly, about being drawn into a game based on how desperate you are to need money. And I thought that some of the CGI was okay too for the budget. Other than that, it's non-actors. I don't believe they've actually been in anything. Maybe the other shitty movies this director has put out, they've been in those. That's all I really have to say about it. I can't recommend it. Not worth watching. It's on Tubi, and like I said, it was a bad movie. Anybody else?
Hot garbage.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was terrible. I didn't think it could be worse than the last movie, but it somehow managed to do that.
Yeah, it wasn't.
We can set the bar pretty low.
The last movie had some funny, like ironically funny and fun moments in it, like the terrible songs they wrote for the movie and stuff like that. But it just kind of.
Yep. I actually like the last movie better now that I've seen this.
Yeah, I do too. And I wrote in the Matrix that I'm not sure why I gave the last movie a thumbs up, but I went ahead and took the star off. So there's no stars, and there's no way I can give that a thumbs up and give this a thumbs up. This is a thumbs way down.
In the credits too, it looked like some of the actors and actresses were doing like double or triple duty too. Like there was
really?
Some of the names were repeated for the clowns or the nuns or whatever it was. I saw some of the names popping up a couple times. I'm like, oh yeah, that surely reflects the budget. And I know it was the blood effects were like, oh, just like terrible. I was
very
like,
bad.
This is so bad.
Very bad CGI blood in this. Like they had the chainsaw wielding scarecrows and clowns. When they would cut somebody, they would have like the CGI.
Yeah, the audio for the
blood.
chainsaw, I don't know if it was Tubi or the audio didn't seem to quite match with the chainsaw.
No,
it's a little weird.
I thought it was maybe they were using an electric chainsaw or something because you could barely hear it, and it just but yeah, it was bad. Any high notes? I don't really have any. I can read a couple of reviews that other people have left. Some person who obviously was casted in this movie or is part of the crew said a fun film, 10 stars, playing on the aspect of gaming, an enjoyable watch for a low-budget film with a great pace. I'd have to disagree on that. A 1-star review says, normally I can accept a budget film and 3.5 to 5 stars. In fact, I don't mind a movie with no effects on or glam. This movie can summed up by one word, lazy. The story, script, and acting are both beyond awful. Just listening to what they are saying is painful, but the actor's inability to act, look sincere, and even portray facial expressions made me want to get into VR and cut myself up with a chainsaw. Bad guys are the Scarecrow, the Nun, and the Mime. Oh yeah, there's a mime in this that screams for some reason, even though mimes are silent. The writer or writers has zero thought from the outset. It's going to be very predictable. I have no idea what others are talking about in here or how much they were paid. Lasted all of 15 minutes before they bowed out. So, yeah. That's a virtual deathmatch. Warrency, did you get a chance to see it? You did? Anything to say about it, or?
I watched it the next day. Enjoyed the premise.
That's
I liked yet could predict all the twists that were in it.
Yeah. Like that. What'd you think about
but
the girl?
I would have rather watched it as a better movie.
What'd you think about the girl the protagonist, whose deepest, darkest secret was that she poisoned her husband with rat poison because she caught him cheating, and that's why he was sick and needed the medicine, and had the tube taped to his lip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
seemed
felt unnecessary.
Predictable.
And then he died anyway.
Yeah.
So who lived?
Yeah, that she did.
She did. She lives.
The
okay,
main girl
yeah.
lived.
That's right. She lives, and then, but the twist is that while she was in the game, her husband died anyway. So
she got to keep the money and
well,
didn't have to save the cheating bastard.
One of the other contestants had made her promise as he was dying to tell his mom that he loved her, and he needed the money because her house was being foreclosed on because his dad was a compulsive gambler. So what she did was have her little sister go to that guy's mom's house and pay off the house for them, so she didn't lose the house. So I guess that's what she did with the money.
You said it was $1 million. I doubt that they owed $1 million on the house.
Well, you're probably right. I'm sure that. Anyway, that's how it ended.
They'll get into what happens to the rest of the money in the sequel.
Yeah. The sequel, you can find out.
Is there a sequel?
Exactly what happens. I don't know, because this lady that directed this made about 4 movies called Tooth Fairy. Tooth Fairy 1, Tooth Fairy 2, Tooth Fairy 3, Tooth Fairy 4. So, who knows? So, I give it a thumbs down. Where's the camera? Thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Warrency, what about you? Thumbs down. Okay. 3 thumbs down means 0 stars.